All right, close your eyes for a second. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a Roman Colosseum. The heat is thick, the dust is hitting your throat, and you can hear 10,000 people screaming for blood. Now here's the thing. You don't know the person in the center of that ring. You don't know what they did. You don't know if they're even guilty. But the person to your left is howling for a head, and the person to your right just picked up a stone. Suddenly, your heart starts racing. You feel this weird primal surge of adrenaline. And in that moment, you, the person who likes jazz, hates cilantro, and pays their taxes, disappear. You aren't an individual anymore. You're just a cell in a massive, angry animal. And before you even realize it, you've picked up a stone too. Look, it's 2026. We don't need the sand or the stones anymore. We have the post button. We talk about cancel culture like it's just a political trend, but honestly, that's the boring way to look at it. Underneath all the hashtags is something way darker. It's a psychological trap called groupthink. Today, I want to talk about how the crowd doesn't just silence people, it actually destroys who you are. We're going to look at why good people turn into monsters online, and what a guy like Nietzsche had to say about our herd instincts over 100 years ago. Let's get real for a second. Let's talk about a girl named Justine Sacco. Back in 2013, Justine had about 170 followers on Twitter. She's at the airport, about to board an 11-hour flight to South Africa, and she posts a tweet. It was a sarcastic, pretty misguided attempt at a joke about American ignorance and AIDS. Was it a bad tweet? Yeah, it was pretty bad. But then she turns off her phone and gets on the plane. While she was sleeping at 30,000 feet, the shadow of the crowd took over. By the time she landed, she was the #1 trending topic on the entire planet. Tens of thousands of people who had never met her, were calling for her to be fired, calling her a monster, even sending her death threats. Someone actually went to the airport just to take a photo of her looking at her phone when she landed, so the internet could watch her life shatter in real time. Think about that. In the span of a nap, a human being was erased. The crowd didn't see a person with a family or a history, they saw a target. And the scariest part? Most of those people probably thought they were the good guys. So why do we do this? Why do we turn into vultures the moment we get a screen in front of us? Psychologists call it deindividuation. It's basically a fancy way of saying you lose yourself. When you're part of a digital mob, 3 things happen to your brain. 1, anonymity. You feel invisible. Even if your name is on your profile, that screen feels like a mask. You think they can't see the real me. 2, diffused responsibility. This is the big one. You tell yourself, I'm just one person out of a million. I didn't ruin her life, the crowd did. It's like being in a rainstorm and saying you aren't the one getting the ground wet. And 3, the echo chamber. When you're surrounded by people who all hate the same thing, you don't stay moderate. You get more extreme. You start competing to see who can be the most outraged. In this state, your moral compass just breaks. You stop asking, is this right? And you start asking, is this what the tribe wants me to say? This is how groupthink wins. It makes the cost of thinking for yourself way higher than the cost of being cruel. Now, if you think this is a new problem because of the internet, Friedrich Nietzsche would like a word. Over a century ago, he was writing about what he called herd morality. Nietzsche argued that deep down, we're still just herd animals. We have this biological, gut-level terror of being kicked out of the tribe. Back in the day, exile meant you died in the woods. Today, digital exile, being canceled, triggers that same primal fear. Nietzsche said, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. He believed the herd actually hates anyone who stands out. The crowd doesn't want the truth, it wants everyone to match. When you see a viral takedown, is it really about justice? Or is it just the herd flexing its muscles to make sure everyone else stays in line? When you shout with the crowd, you feel powerful. But Nietzsche would say that's fake power. It's actually a cover for being a coward, because you're too afraid to stand alone with your own thoughts. And here's the kicker. The apps we use, they are built for this. Algorithms don't give a damn about nuance. They don't care about, well, on the other hand, they want high arousal emotion. And you know what the most viral emotion is? Anger. If I post a nice, thoughtful review of a book, I get 5 likes. If I post a screaming, vicious takedown of that author, I get 5,000. We are literally being rewarded by a machine to be part of a mob. We've built a world where virtue is a performance. We join the crowd not because we care, but because we're scared of what happens if we don't. We trade our souls for the safety of a like button. So how do we stop? How do we step out of that shadow? It starts with the pause. The crowd is always in a rush. The mob wants you to react right now. The individual takes a breath. Next time you see the internet's finger pointing at someone, ask yourself, do I actually have the facts, or did I just read a caption? Am I saying this because I believe it, or because I want my friends to see me saying it? And honestly, would I say this to this person's face if we were sitting in a room alone? Standing against the crowd is lonely. It's exhausting. It's exactly what Nietzsche warned us it would be. But the alternative is being a ghost. The most rebellious thing you can do in 2026 is to be a person again. Be messy, be nuanced, and sometimes just be quiet when everyone else is screaming. Don't let the shadow of the crowd swallow you whole. Thanks for hanging out and thinking through this with me. If this hit home, maybe share it with one friend, not a mob, just one person. Stay curious, stay individual. I'll see you in the next one.